A house of dreams. Emily Rose, a 12-year-old girl with a heart full of dreams and a mind brimming with creativity, lived in a quiet suburban town. She had always been passionate about design, constantly sketching houses, rooms, and gardens in her little notebook. Her bedroom was her favorite playground. She would rearrange her furniture, create her own color schemes, and even design handmade decorations for the walls. But she had never been given the chance to transform her ideas on a larger scale until now. It was a sunny Saturday morning when her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Rose, received an invitation to an important charity event in the city. They were unsure whether to attend because they didn't want to leave Emily home alone. But Emily, with her ever-growing sense of independence and an enthusiastic gleam in her eyes, convinced them to go. "I'll be fine, Mom. I'm 12, not a baby," Emily said with a playful grin. "Besides, I have so many things I can do here. I'll keep busy, don't worry." After some hesitation, her parents finally agreed, trusting Emily to stay safe and promising to be back later that evening. What they didn't know was that Emily had already started planning something special, a surprise that would leave them speechless. As soon as the front door closed behind her parents, Emily raced to her room, her mind racing with possibilities. She had the entire house to herself for the whole day. This was her chance to turn her ideas into reality. Armed with her sketches, creativity, and a few materials she had secretly gathered over the last few weeks, Emily was determined to give the house a makeover like no one had ever seen. First, she stood in the living room, gazing around thoughtfully. The walls were a soft beige, the furniture was practical but dull, and the decorations were minimal. Her parents had always preferred a simple, understated style, but Emily dreamed of something more vibrant, something alive with color and personality. "I want to make this house feel like it has a soul," Emily whispered to herself as she picked up her notebook. She quickly sketched out a plan, a living room with warm, earthy tones, soft lighting, and cozy corners where her family could relax and feel at home. She started by grabbing a few cans of paint from the garage. Emily had seen her parents paint the house once before, and she remembered how much fun it had looked. But instead of the muted tones her parents favored, Emily chose colors that made her heart sing: deep forest greens, rich terracottas, and golden yellows. She spent the next few hours painting one wall at a time, using a mix of sponges and brushes to create textured patterns that mimicked the look of sunlight filtering through trees. Once the paint was dry, she moved on to the furniture. She covered the plain beige sofa with a colorful throw she found in the attic, added cushions in bright patterns, and draped fairy lights across the top of the mantelpiece, creating a warm, twinkling glow. She found an old wooden coffee table and sanded it down, giving it a rustic look, then added a few hand-painted ceramic coasters she had made in art class. Next, Emily turned her attention to the kitchen. Her mother loved to cook, but the kitchen was far from inspiring. It was functional, but it lacked warmth. Emily wanted to change that. She decided to create a kitchen of memories, a place where her family could cook together, laugh together, and make new memories every day. Emily started by making her own DIY chalkboard for the kitchen wall. She found an old picture frame in the garage, painted the glass with chalkboard paint, and added a small bucket of colored chalk to hang beside it. Now her mom could note down recipes or leave sweet messages for the family. Emily also added a small herb garden in mason jars along the windowsill, giving the kitchen a fresh, vibrant feel. By the time the kitchen was done, Emily was starting to feel tired, but her excitement kept her going. She still had big plans for the dining room and her parents' bedroom. She wanted the dining room to be a place where they could gather for family dinners, filled with laughter and stories. So, she reupholstered the dining chairs with bright fabric scraps she found in her craft box. She also hung up a few of her own watercolor paintings on the walls, pictures of the countryside and the beach, places they had visited together as a family. Finally, Emily tackled her parents' bedroom. She knew they loved the idea of a peaceful, relaxing space, but hadn't had the time to create one. So, she decided to make it into a little sanctuary for them. She found some soft white curtains in the linen closet and hung them up, giving the room a light, airy feel. Then, she arranged candles on the bedside tables and added a handmade dream catcher above their bed, a gift she had made in secret weeks ago, just for this moment. Exhausted but exhilarated, Emily took a step back and admired her work. The house looked entirely different, full of life, color, and warmth. She couldn't wait to see the look on her parents' faces when they walked through the door. As the sun began to set, Emily quickly tidied up, hiding the evidence of her hard work and setting the stage for the big reveal. She even prepared a little surprise dinner, simple sandwiches and lemonade, so they could sit together and enjoy the new space. When her parents finally returned home, they were tired from the long day, but the moment they stepped inside, their exhaustion melted away. They stood frozen in the doorway, their eyes wide with disbelief. "Emily, what happened here?" her mother gasped, looking around the transformed living room. Emily grinned, unable to contain her excitement. "Surprise! I redesigned the house. Do you like it?" Her father was speechless as he took in the new colors, the cozy atmosphere, and the little details that only Emily would think of. "Emily, this is incredible. You did all this by yourself?" Emily nodded eagerly. "Yep. I wanted to give the house some personality, you know? Make it feel like us." Mrs. Rose walked slowly around the room, touching the walls, admiring the paintings, and running her fingers over the soft cushions on the sofa. She could hardly believe her eyes. "It's perfect, sweetheart. It's so us. I didn't even realize how much we needed this." Emily's heart swelled with pride. "Wait until you see the kitchen," she said, grabbing their hands and leading them through the rest of the house. Her parents marveled at each room, from the bright, inviting kitchen to the cozy dining room, and finally, to their bedroom, where the dream catcher swayed gently in the breeze. By the time they sat down to eat the sandwiches Emily had made, they were both on the verge of tears. "You've given us a gift, Emily," her father said softly as they sat around the dining table. "This house, it feels like home in a way it never has before." Mrs. Rose smiled, her eyes shining with love and gratitude. "You've always been so creative, but this is beyond anything we could have imagined." "Thank you, sweetheart." Emily beamed, her heart full of joy. "I just wanted to make it special for us. A place where we can all be happy." And that night, as they sat together, surrounded by the warmth and beauty that Emily had created, the house truly felt like a home filled with love, laughter, and memories waiting to be made. The next morning, Emily's parents couldn't stop talking about the transformation. They called it Emily's House of Dreams, and even made plans to invite friends and family over to see the amazing changes their daughter had brought to life. Mr. and Mrs. Rose knew that their daughter was special, but this was a sign that Emily's creativity was boundless. From that day on, the house became a symbol of their family's bond and Emily's incredible talent. Every time someone visited, they would ask who had designed the rooms, and Emily, with her shy smile, would step forward proudly. She realized that design wasn't just about making a space look good, it was about creating a place where people felt comfortable, loved, and inspired. Over the years, Emily's passion for design only grew stronger. She spent her teenage years learning more about architecture, interior design, and even landscaping. Her house had been the first canvas for her creativity, but it was far from the last. One day, many years later, as Emily stood in front of her own design studio, looking at the logo that bore her name, she thought back to that day when she was just 12, painting walls and rearranging furniture while her parents were at an event. It had been the beginning of everything, a dream that had turned into a lifelong passion. And she knew that no matter where life took her, she would always carry that creative spark inside her, the same one that had transformed her family's house into a home.